My name is Eric Monk. I work on the solutions team at Neo4j, and I put together this tool called Reveal, which is a new tool under Cypher Workbench. You may be using Cypher Workbench under one of the Neo4j hosted versions, or you may be using it under labs, so you may have deployed it yourself on your own machine or somewhere else. It works the same way, either way, no matter how it's deployed. Once you have Cypher Workbench up and running, Reveal is this tool right here, the fourth one. It looks like a little polygon. And what Reveal is it's a Cypher debugger or explainer. It helps you kind of see what is going on as a Cypher statement executes. The main areas is this is where you put your Cypher here, and we'll do that in a second. This is a graph visualization, which will appear in a second. And as well, there's a result table that shows up here. To start running a debug session, you want to connect to a database. So there's this database connect icon up here. If you use the databases tool over here before, this list will have one of those for you filled out. So I've actually got, this is already filled out for me. You can just type it in if it's not filled out for you. So I'm connecting to a local host to a database called Station. My credentials are already filled out. I'm going to click connect. And when I do that, the check mark up, or I get a check mark up here. If I hover, it'll tell me I'm connected. Additionally, it gives me some information here. This is like an info overlay widget. It says there's 12 nodes in the database, 12 relationships. So I click it once. It gives me more information. I can click the background again to collapse it. So let's say we look at it, it's got 5 station nodes, 7 stop nodes. And this database was actually constructed using this quantified path patterns. If you go to the Neo4j documentation here, quantified path patterns, it's this first block here. And we can look at it in browser real quick. So browser, this is it, localhost station. There's some 5 station nodes, 7 stop nodes. It's the same information. And so let's go ahead and troubleshoot a Cypher statement. So let's go back here, and I'm going to click this and scroll up. We're going to pick this last one from the first section. Let's just run it here in browser. So it does this. It's using this quantified path pattern syntax to look for some routes between Denmark Hill, Clapham Junction, and it returns some information. So how does it work though? Because if you're not familiar with the QPPs, you may not quite understand what's going on here. So let's look at it in Reveal, and we can run it straight away since we're connected by hitting this run button. Looks a little bit different. We're not doing date formatting like browser's doing, so this is kind of the raw information coming back in this particular case. But the real power here is to use this debugger. So we'll click this. When you click the debug version, this becomes read-only now. You can hit the stop button to go back and do editing. So we're going to debug though. And also a couple things happen. One is it does rewrite the statement. Some of the white space isn't preserved. And additionally, some variables are injected where there is no variables. So we need to have that information so we can see what's going on in the graph visualization. And it'll make sense in a second. So now that we're here, I'm going to step. So you can step down a line, or you can step inside of a line for like match clauses and things. So we step forward, it's going to rewrite the statement piece by piece, essentially bring stuff into scope as we move forward. So first, we're just looking for station nodes. As you saw before, there's 5 station nodes, and this thing will update as well. This is now showing you the information in what I'll call this scene here. So there's 5 station nodes. And also as nodes come in or relationships come in, they are selected. There is some zoom capability here with the mouse wheel or these buttons. This, if I were to say like, I can click on something to deselect it, for instance, let me deselect those. And if you click this, it'll just show you the selected information. If you click this, it shows you everything in the scene. And we have some different layout options. There's the forced layout and the hierarchical layout as well. And as new things come into the scene, they will be selected. So now Denmark Hill is already here. So if I click forward, we're going to get rid of some stuff. It's not selected, meaning because it was already in the scene. So let's move forward again. So now what's in scope, we have station, Denmark Hill, and we're looking at this relationship called calls at. We don't really know what the end node is. Since we don't have that information, we have this placeholder. These little gray circles are placeholders until we get the information about what that the other side of the relationship is. You'll note also as this graph visualization, we'll call it the scene, is getting updated. Also, we've got the records coming back. These are the actual individual paths that are coming back, and we'll get into that in a little bit. So we move forward again. This may happen to you. The query writing is not perfect, and so if this does happen, just click forward again. It should recover. So now what's in scope is we've got Denmark Hill calls at a stop. So this Denmark Hill here, these are stops there. That's the calls out relationships. And then we went out and we added the next relationship. So now you saw that new information in the scene is highlighted. We've got these next relationships and these additional information. And you can look at here as well the variables, what they look like. Let me just turn this off. Yeah, if you click a row, like for instance, like this, it's going to select everything in that row. So it's going to select like Denmark Hill, calls out 8 and 7, next, which are the relationships. And this is useful so you can kind of see how Neo4j works. So Neo4j, like the JavaScript driver, is going to return to you rows, and in each row, it may have a reference to like a node. So this Denmark Hill, for instance, is returned 4 times, but it only shows up once in the visualization. So the same thing happens in browser. Like browser will do the exact same thing as that. But browser is going to not necessarily show you the rows. It can if you go to like this text view. In fact, let's do that. We can say something like this. And I think we need to include this thing here. Let's do that. And we'll do like a return star. Yeah, so browser looks like something like that, and you can see the kind of information that browser would return. It is returning 4 records. It's really hard to read, and so that's why in Reveal we have the capability to give you, basically, if you're looking at nodes, it shows you the node as a node in the results. You can change that here. You can change it so it looks more like what browser would be giving you, but it is hard to read. So this is a more convenient syntax. Also, there is the ability to configure what is displayed. So if you're just running this now, actually this is showing the properties now. There's 2 little things here. This is a node configuration. If you click on, say, station, we can change the color. Maybe we want to make it red. I actually do like blue. Same thing for stops. We might want to make them orange or something like that, but we'll move them back to green. You can also change, probably what will happen to you is it may have picked like a different label. So maybe looking like this for you. What I did before this session was I just came in here and I switched it to node ID, which is a little easier to look at. So much like your browser or Neo4j Bloom, you have the ability to change the colors and the display label here. So now let's go forward again. So we can zoom out and see all the nodes in the scene. This is this button. We go forward again, and now we have all our stops from Denmark Hill. We're gonna go out. So let's see if this is no syntax error. So we're getting more information. So now you can see the relationships we're getting more like paths back. We got these new paths, these calls at paths, and then let's go all the way out to station. So those extra things that were gray, now we know they're stations. And now what'll happen? You see, there's like 2 sort of general paths, like from here to here, and then from here to here. Let me see what happens. Yeah, so what happens is that those two paths are still there, but since we're only concerned with Clapham Junction, the other stations dropped out. So if you can actually go backwards, see them. So there they were. And then going forward, you see now that they dropped out and we just have Clapham Junction and Denmark Hill. So that's essentially how that match statement worked. And you can see that if you click here, for instance, this is one of the paths, which is this. And so when we return the next thing, when we'll step through in a second, we'll return this. It's going to return the, let's see, D dot departure time, whatever D is. D is the stop. Okay. And then A is the arrival time. So it's going to return that. And then that one picks this other path like this. So the QPP, if you're not familiar with it, this syntax means follow this pattern in this parentheses at least once up to 3 times. And so you can see it goes like, so we started Denmark Hill. So it says, oh, there's one hop, 2 hops, 3 hops. And then we end with the calls at, which is this stuff over here. And then we can click forward to the next line. Now there's no information left as far as the nodes. We're not returning nodes here. That's why this thing blanked out. And we get our answer. So there you have it. That's a very quick overview of Reveal. You can, of course, debug much more complex Cypher statements and stuff. But thank you for watching, and give it a try. Appreciate it. And I'm going to stop debugging and stop the recording.